Hey guys, thanks for coming out. Really a tough one to swallow Saturday, but true to our form, our guys came out yesterday and we had a real good practice after we went through the autopsy of the game, and we were 0-1 in the Wisconsin season. But the great thing is we got a chance this week to go 1-0 in the Michigan State season, and that's what we started to do last night. So I'll open it up for questions.
It sounds like there's some uncertainty with their quarterback situation. I guess what's the challenge of preparing for that type of uncertainty, and especially when one guy doesn't have a whole lot of film to evaluate?
Yeah, I mean, we have scouting report on him. We have some things that were public access video. I knew of him when he was at St. John Bosco in California. So if they end up playing him, he's more of a bigger pocket passer type guy, where Kim is probably a little more mobile. But I don't see huge changes in their offense. Now, they had a bye week, just as Wisconsin had a bye week, which is interesting, right? That you have two in a row that have bye weeks. That's that always makes me think a little bit. But so they have the opportunity, and especially with the change, like what went on certainly was a traumatic experience out in East Lansing, and to have a chance to catch their breath, and as a staff to really circle up and say, okay, what do we want to do for this back half of the season? Who do we want to be? How do we want to run this thing? Whereas I'm sure initially it was, trying to just keep everything going. So is there a guarantee that they'll be in the same thing? I can't tell you that, but we'll be prepared for both.
Yes, just at the midway point, what's your overall assessment where your program is?
Yeah, I think by now I don't go there while we're in it, because I literally live we were 0-1 last week, so my assessment was we were 0-1, and disappointed in that, but encouraged by the team of guys we have, by the leadership on our team, the way they came back to work. I said something after the game that I really feel we're just not there yet. We're getting there. We're a much improved team. We'll get there. We just got to keep going, and got to be fortunate, stay healthy. We've lost some guys already, and we don't have great depth at some positions, so we have to stay healthy. But we're getting better, and we'll get better this week. Will it be good enough? I hope so. Yeah, hope so.
What's your assessment of how the offensive line performed, both in terms of pass blocking and then more on the run side?
You know what? We did some good things, and then we did some things that were really poor. So, when you mesh that out, it's usually not going to be good enough. Inconsistent would probably be the number one word that comes to mind. We need to build consistency, and I think I know we're capable. I know that. We just need to do it under pressure in a game against really good personnel. We're going to get that chance this week. Michigan State's front four is as stout and as athletic and disruptive as we'll face all year, so it's a huge challenge.
We saw Reggie Sutton play some significant snaps on Saturday. Just your overall evaluation of him, and is there any chance that he could be elevated into a starting role, or is that a little too much?
There's always a chance, Richie. I mean, the competition is competition, and he's getting more reps. We have to, to me, some of my NFL experience and some of our coaches' NFL experience will come into play with Reggie, because Reggie's much like a 30-something-year-old lineman in the league that, you get him ready, you get him what he needs during the week, and then you let him go as much as he can. And when he tells you he can't go anymore, then you gotta pull him. So we're working towards that. The thing that Reggie brings, he's really a good player. He understands the game. He's mature. You don't do what he has done if you're not one of the toughest son of a guns on the planet. So you get a lot when he's in there. Just gotta, like I said, you gotta manage it.
Evan Simon stepped into a difficult role on Saturday. Can you just speak to him and his performance, but also just kind of the role that he has on the team and what you've seen from him this year on and off the field?
Yeah, I was pleased with the way Evan went in there, and I knew he would. Evan doesn't sweat anything. You know, that's one thing he's got going. He's a cool customer. And I thought it was great that first play in there, Kirk throws the ball, calls a pass. That shows you how much we believe in him. And he's done a great job of just, preparing as if he's a starter. He doesn't get as many reps as the starter, but preparing and making every rep count. And sure enough, when the opportunity came, he made the most of it. So I was pleased. And I think that the way he works, they have a really good quarterback room. All of those guys support each other. When Johnny went in the week before, everybody was so excited for him. So I think they got something special in that room, and it's led by Coach Shiraka.
Where's Sam Brown in terms of him just getting built back up into full game shape?
Yeah, Sam Brown, interesting because, October 22nd, 2022 is when he got hurt. And he had a pretty significant surgery, had a little bit of a setback, over the course of the summer and missed some valuable time. He's getting caught up right now. And as he gets more and more caught up, Sam's a real good player. And the good thing is we have guys that stepped up, and, I think Kyle's, third or fourth in the league in rushing. We have good backs in our backfield. I think Sam's one of those. He'll get more time. He just needs to get a little more work in practice. But as you guys know, we still have half a season left. He didn't start practicing in earnest until the first game week. So he missed all those practices, 15 in the spring, 25 in training camp. So it wasn't until the game week that he started. So we just got to give him a chance to get his feet back under him, and he's going to do just fine. He's already gone in and did some good things. We got to look. I thought about it Saturday. I did. We were struggling a little bit, and said maybe a fresh blast. But it was one of those games where there wasn't very many plays. So it's we're going to do this. Well, I'll just let Kyle done it. He's practiced that. And I think you guys know the importance that I put on practice and cumulative repetition. So we'll get Sam back.
I know Michigan State season's important to focus one game at a time. Does it feel extra important this week, knowing where you guys are at the season, 4-2, coming off a tough loss? Does it feel like a must-win?
I never, ever was must. I just never have felt that in my career. I put every game's a must-win to me. I wake up in the morning, that's all I think about. I go to bed. So what more can you do? To me, every game is you give it every single thing you got. If you start looking at this game is more important than that game, if I coach different against Wagner than I did against Wisconsin, then shame on me. They should get rid of me, right? The preparation is the same. The attitude's the same. The focus is the same. That's what professionals do, and that's what I fully expect from our staff every week. This is a big game. It's a Big Ten game. They're all big. But, you work all year, as I've said to the players and I've said to you guys. It's a long year to get to the season and only get 12 guaranteed games. I never understood how anybody – it's a lot of work year-round to just get to those 12. So every one of them is a must-win to me.
Aaron Lewis, Wesley Bailey, both tied for the team lead in sacks at this point. What do you make of the job that they've done in terms of pressuring the quarterback?
Yeah, I think our front, has a chance to be really good. I think the cumulative repetitions, again, are going to pay off in the back half of the season if we can stay healthy. They're good players. And I think as they hone it more and more hone their skills and trust their training, they're going to just keep making more and more plays. So we just need to ride that front. We have 8 to 10 guys that we play on the defensive front, and we try to keep them all fresh and keep rotating them. But certainly, when you have guys like Aaron and Wes, they're going to get a little more because they're I think top part of the league players.
You mentioned this team and Yet twice. We're waiting for Yet. How did Greg Schiano 1.0, your first time here, kind of impact how you're looking at Yet and seeing when Yet's going to happen?
That's a good question. I think I don't look back at the last time very much and say, well, this happened last time, so this is going to happen this time. I think all of us are an accumulation of our experiences. So that whole 11 years, plus everything that happened between when I left and came back, that all comes into play in determining where we are. And I hopefully, after all these years of doing this, can see where a team is. And is it on the rise? Is it kind of level, or is it on the decline? I see this team like this right now. I see young guys that are going to be really good players someday, that we're getting in there. We're kind of sprinkling them in there. And then I see guys that are real good players right now, and that those are the guys we got to win with. And I just think that it just takes a little bit more still. There's no magic pill. It's cumulative reps. It's development. I've said it many times. We're a developmental program. We just got to keep developing, and the worm will turn.
Just with Gavin, with where he is in his development, the experience that he now has, what changes have you seen this year in terms of the way he bounces back from adversity, the way he learns from mistakes and things like that?
Much better. I think that isn't just, though, I think everybody likes to make that an emotional thing. I think it's that he knows he's trained, and he knows he's put the time in. And when those plays happen, all right, they made one. As I always say to them, they're on scholarship too, guys. Those coaches get paid as well. They're not a volunteer team with a bunch of volunteer coaches. That's a Big Ten program, and they're going to make some plays. And as long as you're trained and you believe in you trust your training, I think that gives him confidence to say, well, they got one. I'm getting the next one. And he did. He came back, and, as I told him when he came off, I always ask him, what'd you see? Because I want to know what he thought. And then I said, all right, let's go keep gunning, man. The second half, let's go.
Just wanted to check in on a couple injuries. Chris Long, how close is he to coming back? Renee Congo missed last week, and Tyler Needham, I'm assuming, is going to be a little bit more long-term.
Well, as I always say, I'm gonna always refer to the availability report on Saturdays. They're all working their tails off to get back. I promise you that. And as soon as they're able, they'll be back in. I think our training staff and our medical staff has done a great job. We've gotten some guys back that, man, quite honestly, I didn't know if we'd get them back. So I trust those guys. I think they're doing a good job, and I know those players you mentioned are dying to play. So they'll do everything they can in their power to get back. So it's always interesting in a season. You have guys that are healing, you have guys that are freshly injured, you have the whole mix. You got to try to balance that and make sure distributing the reps in practice is critical for how you play the game. So that's a challenge. And then, again, I always say it, we're in the heart of it now, right? In the middle of the semester. And these kids are under a lot of pressure academically. This is a tough school. Academically, they're competing with some of the brightest people in the country. So I know our guys, I can see. I know when they have papers due, they're looking back at you just like you guys are, and you see that fatigue. And I feel for them. But you know what? That's what they got to do. You chose to get it. You're going to get a great degree when you leave here, but there's a price to pay for that. So we got to watch the injury recovery. We got to watch guys, not getting enough sleep because they're doing their studies. We're trying to help them with all that. But I'm proud of the way they're working right now. And we got a great opportunity. Homecoming Saturday, Michigan State coming to our place, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate you covering us.